Dear students, in the present lecture, we are going to discuss on vouching. But in vouching, main focus is given here, vouching of cash transactions or cash book. In every business, cash book is a prime important book. In business concern, cash book is maintained for recording receipts as well as payments of cash. Cash book is an important financial book. Errors and frauds arise mostly in connection with receipts and payments of cash by making misappropriations wherever possible. The entries for receipt and payments of cash are checked with the reference to various supporting documentary evidence. Vouching is the process in which all documents supports are to be checked by the auditor. No transaction has been recorded without documentary evidence that should see an auditor while vouching. The cash book of any day can be known from cash book. It means that cash book is concerned with recording of cash receipts and cash payments on daily basis. Therefore, the cash balance of any day can be known from cash book. As the cash is more important and sensitive item, money makes problem, money solves problem. That is the philosophy. But misappropriation mostly found in relation to cash, or frauds are mostly found in relation to cash. Therefore, cash is very sensitive item. The auditor should be very careful while carrying on vouching in respect of cash transactions. Cash transactions and credit transactions, these are the two types of transactions. But here we are focusing on cash transaction. In other words, we are discussing about vouching of cash book or cash transactions. The process of vouching of cash book is divided into two parts, namely, first part is vouching of cash receipt and second part is vouching of cash payments. Cash book shows cash receipts as well as cash payments. It starts from opening balance, it closes showing closing balance. It means that there are two parts of vouching in relation to cash transaction or cash book. First part is vouching of cash receipts and second part is vouching of cash payments. While vouching cash book or cash transaction, the auditor should confirm that all the receipts and payments are recorded in cash book with right figures. No transaction or no cash receipt or payments ignored from recording that should be seen by the auditor. All the receipts and payments are recorded under appropriate accounting heads. There are certain accounting heads, and by considering the nature of transaction, the cash receipt or cash payment should be recorded under appropriate head. The amount is correct allocated as capital or revenue to correct account. There are two types of income: capital income, revenue income. There are two types of expenditure: capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. That allocation is rightly made, and it should be checked by the auditor while vouching of cash transactions. All the payments are approved by the responsible officer. It is very essential that every transaction must be approved by the authorized person. No receipt is omitted from record. Recording is essential of all receipts as well as all payments. The auditor should see that no receipt is omitted from recording. The internal check system is sound or not. If the internal control system is doubtful, the auditor should follow 100% vouching. If, if the internal check system is not in exist, internal check system is exist but doubtful, under that circumstances, the auditor should follow 100% vouching. The auditor should ascertain whether a rough cash book or diary has been maintained, processing of receiving cash and making payments of various types of transaction. For correctness, an employee should maintain rough cash book or diary. On the basis of that diary, the cashier or concerned employee record the transaction in cash book properly. The opening balance on the debit side of cash book should be compared with the balance shown in the last audited balance sheet to ensure that actual balance has been brought down. Sometimes mistakes or errors may arise because of wrong posting. It means that the closing balance of cash book or cash balance shown in balance sheet in the last year ended date, that should be carried forward on the first day of new financial year. For example, and I have given here one model that giving the exact idea of recording last balance and that forwarded ahead. An auditor should watch opening cash balance in the following manner. Number 1. Balance sheet of last or previous year and cash account for the current year. Firstly, we have given here balance sheet. Suppose balance sheet as on 31st March 2016. There are two sides of balance sheet, asset side and liability side. In the right hand side, assets are shown. On the left hand side, liabilities are shown. Here in this balance sheet, asset side show cash balance rupees 10,000, that is closing cash balance, and it is taken in cash account for the year 2016-17. Debit side, here recorded date 1st April 2016, to balance brought down rupees 10,000, that is taken from balance sheet. This is the example to check opening cash balance. The closing cash and bank balance are correctly arrived. Debit side of cash book shows all cash receipts. Credit side of the cash book shows all cash payments. Debit balance of cash is recorded as opening balance and closing balance is recorded on the credit side of the cash book, and that should be correct, and it should be checked by the auditor while carrying vouching of cash book. All unused books of accounts and receipt books and other vouchers are kept in custody of a responsible officer in order to avoid malpractices, fraud, misappropriation. That precaution should be taken by the business organization, and auditor should check that that system has been applied in the business organization. There are specific rules regarding allowing cash and trade discount. By considering the policy of the business concern, what are the rules for discount? That should be checked by the auditor, and he also see that the cash discount or trade discount is given as per rules laid down by the organization. The discounts allowed with the usual terms of credit. Credit policy of the business concern should be proper, and that credit policy is taken into account while vouching discount allowed. Spoilt or torn vouchers and not destroyed but are attached with the making as cancelled. It means that some vouchers may spoiled or torn. For that purpose, that voucher should not be destroyed but attached and record or written as cancelled, and such a type of vouchers properly checked by the auditor is the need of cash vouching. The dates, amounts, names on counterfoils agree with the entries in cash book. It means that suppose cash received on 1st April 2020 from Messrs. Ajay Limited. For that purpose, here date is to be recorded as 1st April 2020. Suppose 10,000 rupees received, amount should be recorded rupees 10,000, and names that amount received from Messrs. Ajay Limited, that should be recorded, and that exactly recorded in cash book is to check by the auditor. The payments relate to the period under audit. It means that past vouchers should not be accepted. Only vouchers are accepted which are occurred during the period of audit and that are in connection with the transactions relating to the business. It is noted that all transactions must be related with the business. It means that business transactions, especially cash transactions, and are to be checked during vouching by the auditor. The payee name is properly stated in cash book. That is also important. The amount is properly recorded in cash book regarding payments. The auditor should that the actual expenditure incurred that should be recorded in cash book. Fictitious expenditure are not allowed to record in cash book. No fictitious or fraudulent or unauthorized payment appears on the payment side of cash book. Cash book is a prime book. It is generally kept in every business. All payments as far as possible except for PT cash should be made by check or online. Except PT expenses. All other expenses should be taken into account and the payment of that expenditure should be made by checks or online because presently online banking is applied in most of organizations. All the receipts of the day should be deposited in the bank at the end of the day. It means that ideal cash should not be allowed to keep with business. All receipt or daily receipt should be deposited in bank on that day. Process of depositing and withdrawing cash from banks, authority approving the payments and signing checks. It means that there should be proper system for depositing and withdrawing money or cash from the banks, and that authority should be concerned regarding it. Bank reconciliation statement should be prepared frequently by the auditor to verify the bank balance with cash book and passbook. Bank reconciliation statement is a statement which shows why difference is occurring in the balance of cash book or passbook. All calculations are made correctly. One mistake makes many mistakes. One mistake affects on further transactions or recording. Therefore, all calculations regarding addition, deduction, multiplication, division, averages should be correct. The narration in the cash book sufficiently explains the nature of each entry. We have learned that every entry we are giving narration for that entry. That narration is not specific, but the narration should give exact idea about the transaction happened. So, in the present lecture, we have seen that how to vouch cash book or cash transaction. Cash book is a basic book maintained in every type of organization. It may be commercial organization, may not be commercial organization, but in auditing we are mostly concerned with business organizations. So it is need of every business to maintain cash book properly, which shows cash receipts as well as cash payments. While vouching cash transaction, there are two important parts of vouching. One part is vouching of cash receipts and another part is vouching of cash payments. So, in the present lecture, we focused on vouching of cash book or cash transaction that are very important because in the world, most of frauds as related to cash. In this way, I am concluding my speech here. Thank you to all of you.